What up, everybody? I can't get over how much I love that intro video. And I'm still working on it, so it's gonna be even better. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Welcome back to Miles of Horror. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a great night. And today I'm hitting you guys with horror movies that deserve sequels, part one. So before I say anything or get into anything, if you guys could hit that like button, I would appreciate it. Next goal is 1,000 subs, man. We're at like 710 as of today. Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's keep this party going. Let's crank it up, man. So appreciate you guys hanging out. So I got 4 movies here for you for today for horror movies that deserve sequels, part one. It's gonna be my goal to do actually a few of these. Because I think it's such a polarizing topic and a fun topic to talk about. So yeah, hit that like button, please, if you'd be so kind. If you don't already subscribe to my channel. Go give me a follow over at Miles of Horror on Instagram as well. Yeah, let's get into it. So the first one I feel like is so due for a something these days because gym culture is everywhere, and I can just see either a remake or a sequel happening. And it just would be badass. And that is the 80s horror movie Death Spa. Okay, this came out in 1988, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And it's basically about this like revolutionary futuristic style gym where the machines are actually have a mind of their own and they can actually like make you work harder, etc. And the guy who runs the place, starts kind of like cranking things to different levels, and it's bananas and it's so much fun and it's gory as all hell. And it turns into something like completely and utterly insane and batshit. And Death Spa rocks. You can get the Blu Ray of this over at Makeflix. I believe it's Makeflix. They do a Blu Ray on this, so it's definitely something that's around. You could pick it up. It's a great movie. But I just feel like gym culture today is so interesting. We have this boom of gyms and gym apparel and gym brands and gym bros, and I feel like they could do something really great with this movie these days, either a remake or a sequel, with this big gym culture vibe. You get a bunch of gym bros in the gym thinking they can one up each other. You get a bunch of sexy women, doing all kinds of machines and stuff. And the script kind of writes itself, man. It's a super, classic slashery type vibe. And I feel like it would just rock, man. You get a bunch of dudes walking around and like, with the stupid fucking haircuts and the, tank tops and Young LA and all that stuff. Nothing against Young LA. I actually have Young LA stuff, but I'm just saying like that gym culture vibe. And you have them die in super fun and cool ways. I feel like Death Spa would make a really great sequel. And again, we're talking 1988. So those things, almost 40 years old at this point. Why not? It's due, man. Give it another shot. So coming in today, at number 1, horror movies that deserve sequels is Death Spa. I think it would make an awesome sequel today. All right, next up is a little selfish of me because I love this movie so much. But it's kind of the peak full moon era for me. And there's so much I love about this movie. But the next one I have on my list is Full Moon Empire Videos Doll. So this is a quintessential tape store era vibe from the late 80s. Now, this movie is about, this doll maker who creates these dolls that have these that basically come to life. But what's so cool about this movie is, besides the fact that it's actually terrifying, is that there's a lot of body horror and a lot of transformative and magic and all that kind of stuff that makes Full Moon so special. And I just think this would make a really cool sequel these days because this movie was a huge tape store era kind of movie, but I think it would translate really well into a new generation because I don't know. I haven't, with things like Megan and things like that. I feel like you can do some really cool things with puppets these days and dolls, for a new generation. Because I don't know. I just have a feeling this would make a really good sequel these days. I think we're a little starved for doll horror as of late, and what better way to do it than with dolls, Full Moon Empire style, get that transformative horror back. I got to be honest with you. I really do think body horror is kind of, making waves these days. You had The Substance last year. You just had Together with James Franco and Alison Brie. I mean, I think that horror movies are really starting to go back to some of those, some of that body horror vibe. And I think people are digging it. So something like Dolls, I feel like could be big. I would love it. And again, it's a little selfish of me to want it, but I just think it would be awesome. So coming in number 2 is Dolls. This movie totally deserves a sequel. Now, if any of these have sequels that I don't know about, my bad. Just let me know. But I don't think they do. Okay, so that's number 2. I got 2 more here for you. So number 3 is an alien invasion movie, and I think now is just the perfect time to launch this one back into the stratosphere, whether a remake or a sequel. And I vaguely remember hearing that they're doing a remake. If you guys might know, let me know in the comments down below. But that is The Faculty, 1998, I believe 98. 1998 sci-fi horror. Teen slasher, monster movie kind of vibe. The Faculty kicks ass. I love this movie so much. You got a great cast. You got Josh Hartnett. You got Usher Raymond. You got Famke Janssen. Who else is in this? You got Elijah Wood. You got this chick from Can't Hardly Wait. I don't remember. She's in a bunch of things. Clea Duvall is her name. So you got T-1000 Robert Patrick in this. Phenomenal cast. There's more here too. Who else? Jon Stewart. So way ahead of its time in terms of the cast. Piper Laurie. So yeah, really ahead of its time as far as the cast is concerned. But I'm a teacher, guys, and I just feel like where education is right now, this it's just a good time to redo this movie. It's almost 30 years old. So like, you have a bunch of kids in the school who are causing shit and being little dirtbags, and they're on their phones and they're causing all kinds of trouble. And you have the era of the smartphone in schools, and you kind of go with the same vibe, and you kind of have this alien invasion story for a new generation. And I think it would be really interesting to have the kids kind of talking back to the teachers and giving them lip and giving them shit, but then all of a sudden the teachers start acting a little differently, whereas in the past maybe they're a little more submissive and they didn't really know how to deal with the kids. But once they start getting taken over, you see like a change in them, and they start demanding more from the kids. I don't know. I think it could be really cool these days, given where our school systems are at, where our youth is at in general, like with cell phones and social media. I just think it would be a cool vibe. So I think this thing would be a blast for a remake or a sequel. So coming in at number 3 is Robert Rodriguez's The Faculty. Great movie. All right, I got one more here for you, and I'm going back to some doll horror, some puppet horror kind of vibe, if you will. And this is a James Wan film that I just love, and I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. I think it's a super underrated movie as it is. And so I guess selfishly, I just want a sequel to it because I love the movie so much. I think there's so much to explore with the lore of this movie, and that is Dead Silence. You have the whole kind of background of Mary Shaw and the lore of her. And I just think there could be a lot more you can do with this type of a vibe. I mean, you can even have a different kind of curse, a different kind of main villain, but also keep it focused on, some kind of, a ventriloquist dummy horror. And I just think it would be cool. You can keep calling it Dead Silence. I don't know. I just, or keep Mary Shaw in the mix because that was her whole thing, right? The silence, and if you talk, you're dead. I don't know. I just feel like this movie, you could do a lot with this this premise and with this ventriloquist horror. Despite whatever happened in this one, I just think it's a cool universe to explore, especially because I love this movie so much. So coming in at number 4 is Dead Silence. I would love for a sequel to this. So there you have it, guys. 4 movies that I think should get horror sequels or remakes in whatever capacity. Episode 1, man, I'm going to do a couple more of these, but appreciate you guys hanging out. Let me leave you guys with something fun. Let's do this. Ooh. No, that's too long. Let's do what do I want to do here? I'll give you this.
What have you done with my daughter?
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
I am your daughter. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out. Be sure to slam that like button. I'll catch you later. Peace.